All right, hello. My name is Gervonté Fowler. Today I'll be showing off a product that I've been working on for the last few months. It's called Rainy Day, and I'm actually out here in Lakeland, Florida today. It is going to rain pretty soon, so I'll be quick with this video. Um, so we can dive right into it. Okay, so we start off here with the authentication screen. So this is where you can sign into the app. Right now, in this current state, this app is in version 0.1.0. We have Google authentication here, which is, just a familiar login. We also have the email sign-in that sends you a magic link. So for today's demonstration, I'll just use Google real quick because it is not looking good out here today. But this is how it is. And so we start off here with the dashboard where we have, I feel like this table is going to blow away. But we start off here and we have our main screen where we have an overview. So you can see your spending, your income, and your net. And so the way that this works is here's the overview page. As you can see, we have our time period selected, which is January 2nd to March 14th, which is all of the data that we were able to gather from this CSV file here. This is a rainy day demo file, and it covers January to March 14th. And as you can see, this is from First Caribbean, which is the current only one that we accept. We also have a cash account here, which can allow you to track transactions manually. So as you can see, we have our transactions over here, and we have our categories, and it shows how the categories are aggregated here. So we have things like our uncategorized expenses, our uncategorized income, our highest expense is rent. And even if you look at this chart here, you can see that $950 for rent on January 30th, and then again on February 27th. So if we go over to the transactions page, we can see that we have our transactions here. These can be sorted and by each of these table headings here. And it also shows you 50 transactions per page. So if we go over to the second page, we can see the rest of our transactions. These aren't categorized. We also get a nice summary up here that shows you the amounts for this entire period. You go over to the categories page, you can see that you can manage your categories. You see the different ones here. An umbrella is definitely essential. Then you go over to the statements page, you can see the statements that we've uploaded. This one here is from First Caribbean, and it's the rainy day demo. And we can see our accounts. Now, if we go over to the accounts page, I can show you how it looks when you get set up. So let me just delete my account real quick. And we can start the sign-in process again. So we sign in with Google. We kind of have an empty state here. But what we can do, we do have a cash account, but what we can also do is upload a statement. So right now, we accept First Caribbean CSV files. So I'll use this demo file here. And then we can see that the overview has been updated. So it shows us that we have quite a few uncategorized expenses and quite a few uncategorized income. We can see some of these expenses here. And we can also see at a glance, some of our large expenses. This $950 would be rent, most likely. But I'll show you that when I get over to the transactions page. So we have our income. And the period that is covered from this statement is January 1st to March 14th. So that is the current thing that we're viewing. But if we want to just look at something like, let's say, last month, we can look at what February looks like. And we can see that we spent $2,000 in February, and we brought in an income of $3,000. So as you can see, that rent payment. And BuiltByGervonte LLC pays pretty well, apparently. So we have that salary in there. So now if we go over to the transactions page, we can see that we can now add a category to these transactions. So for example, salary. And let's just say we categorize this one as rent. And so now if we go back over to the overview, we can see that the categories card has updated to show you, okay, our salary is the top category, and rent, which is considered housing. Now, we can manage the statements that we've uploaded here, including removing it. And then we can also go over to the categories page and create a new category if we need to do so. So for example, with today being a rainy day, let's just say this is an umbrella, and we'll categorize that under rainy day kit. And now we have that new category here, the rainy day kit umbrella. We can also see the accounts that we have on here. So we have a cash account, and we have this first Caribbean account with 6789 as the master account number. You can see our account settings where we can reset our data and we can delete our account. And now that's it for the demo portion of the video. I'll go back inside before it does actually start raining to continue the remainder of this video.
All right, so I'm now back in the house. Just wanted to cover some of the things that I may not have covered earlier. It is actually raining now. But one thing I didn't show is things like adding in a new account. So you can add in a new cash account. The other account types are formed based on the statements that are uploaded. So that account there was gathered from the CSV file that I uploaded. So now we have another cash account in there. If we go over to the transactions page, we can add in a new transaction. So let's just say I spent $2 on rubber bonds. Yeah. Okay. So if I change this here to this week, you'll see that rubber bonds in there. So as I mentioned earlier, I do support currently First Caribbean, but that is currently just the CSV file. I do have plans to expand to the PDFs as well as including Scotiabank within the next upcoming release. So we can start having some multi-bank aggregation in there. So if you head over to my website, this project here is what I vibe coded. And I'll get into that. So you go over to the feature projects, you can see this one is tagged as traditional, which I do have a separation for the ones that I did vibe code. These are smaller projects that I just kind of messed around with the tools, started to learn them and understand how they worked. But this one here, the rainy day project, I did take some time to actually handcraft it and write the code myself. So it's pretty fun, kind of doing that. Definitely reminded me of my internship and my startup days. And I explained further how I actually use AI, more so to break things down, things that are a bit more complex or new to me. And it's kind of similar to how I used to code when I worked at a startup. I would kind of, take the task from Jira and sort of break it down for myself. And that would help with the way that I kind of split the commits going forward and different things like that. And so, I have some cool stuff planned for this project. And I'm keeping it structured by using things like Linear and Minify. While I was developing, Linear's MCP came out. So, it's better integrated with Codex now, which is the AI tool that I use. In addition to that, I believe Minify may have an MCP as well. I haven't dove into that one just yet. But I do have some product documentation within Minify to keep me structured. Same with Linear for structure. Because I wanted to treat this project in the same way that I would treat, I guess, working at a startup. So just kind of being able to iterate on it over a longer period of time, which is why I didn't really want to vibe code it either. With this portfolio itself, kind of looking back at the code that was vibe coded, it's like, yeah, I would not make those decisions. But this one, I'm keeping vibe coded, and rainy day, I'll continue coding and, doing it in that way. So that's really it for today's video. You can read more about the project here on my website. But I'll be making some more videos like this in the future, so stay tuned.